What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Football Manager Save. This is episode number 98. And today we're returning with the first episode of Season 11 and our third year at the Signal Iduna Park. We play our first game in the Bundesliga away against Nuremberg. Today we'll return with a couple of other things though. What happened in the European Championships, the Copa America, a look at pre-season, and of course, the transfer special, which, well, it was quiet, but it was also dramatic. Very interesting. Let's get to that first. And this shouldn't take too long because barely anything's happened, but there has been some big drama to be fair, and let me reveal it to you as we begin with the outgoing. So as you can see, you already knew a couple of these players that were leaving. We sold a couple of our young academy goalkeepers for small fees plus a 50% sell-on clause as well. Schlotterbeck, of course, you knew he was going to go to Atletico Madrid at the end of the season. £20 million we got for the 32-year-old. Not a bad fee for a player on an expiring contract. I will take it. But the big sale, well, first of all, Olszewski left as well. He was our backup goalkeeper for these past 2 years. And the club that put the bid in stunned me. Manchester United. Was not expecting that out of nowhere, and for 2 years here as a backup for GREGOR. He played a grand total of 8 Bundesliga minutes, coming on for GREGOR in Cabell's what was supposed to be his last appearance for the club last season, and to be fair, to have made back almost what we spent on him, it's not bad, is it, to be fair, for a player with 2 years left in his deal. And the only major sale, if you will, for this window that you didn't know about was this one. York TL, he's gone to Spurs for £40 million. I really like TL. You know, I really did. He had a couple of years with us. He scored a few goals, but the majority of his games came from the bench. But he wanted to leave in this summer window. I couldn't talk him round. I think he had 2 years left on his deal, so he was desperate to move on to Spurs, and therefore when he put the bid in, I negotiated a £40 million fee, but most crucially, it was a 50% sell-on fee as well, which means that if he does develop, because he's only 23 years old, and he goes for like, I don't know, 70, 80 million pounds, we'll get another 35 to 40 mil on top of what we've already got. So pretty happy with that. The initial fee is reasonably low for a player of his quality as his age, but again, remember that 50% sell-on clause. Whatever Spurs sell him for, we'll get half of that. Theoretically, he won't go for anything less than this. We're guaranteed probably at least an extra 20 mil if he does move on from North London at some point. So, £66 million raised, primarily for TL and Schlotterbeck. In terms of new signings, I'll be honest, guys, this ain't going to take a while at all. Let's just crack straight on. Yep, I only signed 2 players. There weren't really many good deals available, so I thought, well, I'm not going to waste my money. I might as well just pick up good value for money deals. I'll begin with a player that's a very good value for money deal. Yep, Chris Bennett is in, following in the footsteps of Charlie Creswell, leaving Leeds United after their relegation last season. He had a relegation release clause of £23.5 million, and we certainly got the ROI on Creswell, who came for £36.5 million. This guy's even cheaper, and he's far younger as well. So like Charlie, came through the Leeds Academy, had a brief loan spell at Bristol Rovers in the Championship, so he really has followed practically the same sort of career path as Creswell. He had 1 year at the Den, this guy's had 1 year at Bristol Rovers, and now he's coming after being relegated. So yeah, 23.5 mil. He was a regular in Leeds' Premier League side last year in their relegation year, and helped them get promoted from the Championship the year before that. 23.5 mil, quite a small transfer fee, and again, he's only 22 years old. He's a really young player. He's 6'5", so really tall, with a great jumping reach as well. Fantastic balance, which, as I said before, is one of the most underrated stats in my opinion in FM as well. The strength slightly low for a player of his frame, but it's good enough at 13. And mentally, he's got the holy trio, 18, 16 and 16. You know I love that, with 18 bravery and 16 anticipation as well. Very solid mental stats here for a young centre-half. The lack of aggression, slightly worrying, but not too much to worry about, I would say. And technically, 16 heading, 40 marking and 17 tackling as well. Only 11 passing, not great. Only 12 vision, not ideal. But of course, we normally play with 1 BPD and 1 kind of like no-nonsense centre-half. So to me, as an old-school centre-half, not needing to ping 50-yard balls, it'll be totally fine. So Bennett in, it's a 5-year deal. And just like Charlie Creswell, he arrives from Leeds from a relegated side. And I think we'll definitely get the ROI on the guy. So just the 1 signing left then. Is this really a Doc's Football Manager save? Really? Only 2 signings? No wonder kids, Doxy boy? No, I have signed a new goalkeeper though, and welcome to Borussia Dortmund, your successor for Gregor. Oh, buzzing with this one here. Dennis Sealand. Yes, you'll know all about him if you play this year's FM. He is one of the best. I'm going to say he is the best. He's one of the best wonder kid goalkeepers in this year's FM. And I'm really, really buzzing with this signing. The interesting thing is, Cabell is still here. Now, I'll talk about this in more detail in just a moment's time, but Gregor's is done now. Dennis has taken his number 1 jersey off him and haven't even given Gregor a squad number for this year. I'll explain the drama in a moment, don't worry. But anyway, Dennis is arriving from Lazio for £48 million. It's a pretty decent fee, all things considered, for one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And he moved on from Stuttgart after he had one really good year here in the save. That was the second year. Was it the second year? I think it was the third year, actually. The third year at the save. So he had one really good year at Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, and then Lazio decided to spend the bucks on the guy, 29.5 million, and ever since he moved to the Serie A, to the Stadio Olimpico, this guy took to Italian football like a fish to water. Look at that, in his debut year, only 20 goals conceded in 38 games, and 25 clean sheets. That's got to be a new Serie A record, surely. 25 clean sheets in 38 games, and at this age, he would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20? I think he would have been 20 years old when he did that. That's unbelievable. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. And whilst he might not have replicated that season again, he did have yet another 20 clean sheet plus season a couple of years ago with Lazio. And ultimately, every single year he was there, apart from maybe one, I would say, he was so good. Really, really good. The past 2 years, he has conceded quite a few more goals with Lazio, but for the most part, his average rating has still been really, really good. Last year, picking up 3 man of the matches and 16 clean sheets in 37. So he's had a ton of clean sheets since he moved to Lazio. And I've got to say, I think he's done really, really well here. He's won them the Serie A as well. Was that in his first year or was that in his second year? I think it was his first year when he arrived there. He won the Serie A as well. I mean, he's done so well. But in the summer, I put in a bit of £48 million, flat fee, no clauses, no instalments. Lazio accepted it, and for their fantastic shot stopper in the prime of his career at 26 years old, what can I say? I'm buzzing to bring him back to Germany. So he's regarded as a world-class goalkeeper, and he definitely is. Physically, he's a really, really tall goalkeeper with great jumping as well, so there's no surprise his command of area and aerial reach is really, really high, and one of the best assets of his game. But mentally as well, as you'll see here, 18 determination, 16 leadership. I really like that on my goalkeeper. 15 positioning, 15 anticipation, really solid, and 16 vision with 14 passing and 15 throwing as well. As a sweeper keeper with the uses long throw to start counter-attacks PPM as well. This guy's a great distributor, and his main goalkeeping stats, 16 one-on-ones, 15 reflexes, really, really solid all across the board. So absolutely buzzing with this. He cost me a pretty penny on the contract, 5-year deal, 190 grand a week, but there is no doubt about it. Despite the big sign-off fee I paid as well, he's worth every single penny. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's already won Lazio Serie A title. He's an absolutely class shot stopper, and he's back in the Bundesliga, and he's mine, all mine, buzzing with this. Yeah, so that's it. Very quick and quiet transfer window. No 18-year-old Serbian wonder kids. No 35-year-old dressing room leaders with 2 for acceleration. No, it was a really quick window. And as you'll see in the end, the net loss was only 6 million. I have to say, I think I've done a really, really good job there. I must admit, bringing in a world-class goalkeeper, one of the best in the save, and a good young defender, 10 years younger than Schlotterbeck, for just £3.5 million more. I think I've done a really good job there. And I should say as well, I forgot about this, we have also released Brahim Diaz as well. His contract expired. I was going to give him a new deal. We wanted a wage increase, and I was like, mate, you barely played at all last season. So in the end, I decided to let him go. Villarreal have snapped him up there, so he goes back to his native Spain. So totally fine with that. One and done for Brahim Diaz, and that's not too bad, in my opinion. So that is how the summer transfer window went, but it's not over yet. There's still 2 weeks to go before it slams shut, and I do predict we're going to see some more chaos between now and the end of the window. Here's the main reason why. Gregor Cabell is still here. You absolute tosser. And here's the reason why I've just said that. So if you remember, in January last year, he said, I want to leave, I want a new challenge. So I said, Gregor, I'm not going to sell you now. We're still in the race of the Bundesliga. And when I said that, everyone in the room laughed. But technically, we still were at the time. We were still toe-to-toe with Bayern. And he said, you know what, fair enough, I'll wait till the end of the season and then we'll go there. So he took him off with 10 minutes to go in the final game of the season. Everyone thought he'd just bowed out to the fans. we had a few bids for Gregor. I accepted them all. They were around 5, 4, £3 million. He turned them all down. So he said he wanted to leave the club. We were all in agreement that was going to happen. He had about 5 clubs to choose between. He had a couple in Saudi Arabia, Luton Town, West Ham, and I think there was someone else as well, but I can't remember who it was. He turned them all down. And I thought, right, brilliant. So you said you wanted to leave, and you've turned down every single offer. Okay, fair enough. All right, what I'll do is I'll offer you a mutual termination. Can't do it now, obviously. And he didn't agree to that either. He said no. So I couldn't mutually terminate his contract for around £2.5 million, which I would have negotiated with the agent, because his reasoning was he didn't want to be forced out of the club. I was like, what are you talking about? You said you wanted to leave. I've given you several clubs to go to. You've turned them all down. Now I'm giving you the chance to take charge of your own destiny. I'll give you £2.5 million of your contract right now, there and then. I'll pop it in a bank transfer for you, and you can take charge of your own destiny and go wherever you want. He turned it down. He said he didn't want to be forced out of the club. What are you talking about, Gregor? So, just ridiculous. I'm not paying this fee. That's well too much. That's basically his entire contract. So I'm fuming with the captain. I really am, and that is why I've taken his squad number off him and I've stripped him the captain's armband as well. What do you want, Gregor? Make your mind up. So I'm going to try and force a move through between now and the end of the window. If I can't do it, what I'm going to do, in order to not disrupt the morale of the team, because of course he still has that negative issue and that dressing room issue, to not disrupt the dressing room, what you can do is you can move a player to the reserves, and that will mean that it goes away from that dressing room because he's no longer part of it and part of our B team, if you will, Dortmund 2. So yeah, that's what I'll do. If I can't send him between now and the end of the window, he's not got a squad number, I've taken the armband off him. In order to not disrupt the players' morale in our dressing room, I'll send him to our residence and say, sod this, you can sit there for the rest of your contract and then you can fuck off next year. What a bitter end to the captain's tenure here at Dortmund. There's also a couple of things to show you as well. Firstly, Sambi Lokonga may well be going to Stade Rennais in France for a fee that could rise to 15.25 million. Realistically, because of that, it's more likely to be around 12.5 million. But even so, Sambi Lokonga, 32 years old, came in last year. He was pretty decent, to be fair, in the limited game time he played for us. Just did what I asked of him, really. As a deep line playmaker, all I really wanted to do was just keep hold of the ball. He did that quite well for the most part, the high pass completion ratio. But I'm okay letting him go. In the final year of his contract, he won't get a new one at the end of the season. If he wants to go for a small fee, I'll be totally fine with that. I've extended the contract of Ozcan, so he won't play many times this season. If he does go, I'm totally fine with that. We'll get a small fee for him. But a big sale that is about to go through is this one right here, Luca Nets. Now, towards the end of last season, he said come the end of his contract, which at the end of this season, he wants to explore his options and go elsewhere. It's so frustrating because when a player says that, you simply can't talk him round. It's over. He's going to go. Like, he will go. You can offer him a pay rise. If he doesn't want the money, he's going to go no matter what. So in order to not lose him on a free, we're going to have to cash in now. He'll turn 30 at the end of this season, and we are going to undersell him, unfortunately. There was a lot of interest, but no one was putting in bids. Arsenal were the only team to put a bid in. It was like £30 million. So we're going to sell him for well under valuation. In my opinion, the market valuation is a bit inflated there. For Luca Nets, he's a world-class left-back, but now 29 years old. I'd say he's realistically worth about that, 75 mil. So it is going to be undersell. But due to the fact he's in the final year of his contract, I don't want to lose him on a free transfer. He's been my starting left-back ever since I've been here. He's only missed one Bundesliga game. He's been class. If I can just make a little bit back on what Dortmund paid for him before I came in, so be it. I don't want to lose him, but I can't talk him around. Arsenal are the only team to put a concrete bid in, so it looks as though he's off to the Emirates for a cut price deal, but I do have a player lined up to replace him, so I'm not too concerned. Once that deal goes through, about 44 mil, if the Sambi Lokonga deal goes through as well, we will have enough money to raise our budget up to around £80 million, and that will be enough for the replacement I've got in mind. So, that's the transfers. That was a long way to end it after what, like I said, it was a quiet window in terms of incomings and outgoings. There was some internal drama to sort out. Now, firstly, I'll start off by saying, who's the captain? That's what you want to know. Who's the captain now? Well, here is your answer. Charlie Creswell. Yep, I've given Charlie the armband for the new season, and here's the reason why. Great leadership. The past 2 years, been my starting centre-half alongside the Dragon and Schlotterbeck in Season 1, and he's barely put a foot wrong. This guy is the definition of Mr. Consistent and barely misses a game as well. With the great leadership, with the resolute personality, and also about to turn 30 in 3 days' time. So he's a good age too. I'd say that's the ideal fit in my opinion. And the guy that's become the vice captain, if you didn't see it, it's his CB partner. Yup, the Dragon with a driven personality, with the 13 leadership and the 14 work rate as well. An elite centre-half in the prime of his career right now. So when Creswell does begin to show signs of decline, he'll take the armband permanently. I think that's a great fit there. Our CB partners, our two leaders, our two strong men in the back line, now the new captain and vice-captain. I think personally I've made the right choice there. Ozcan loses it due to his declining stature in this team. He did get a new extension, by the way, 2 years, but he took a reduced wage packet and then some. And of course, Cabell's saga means he lost the armband altogether. So I'm happy with our new team leaders. And as the time goes on, these two will drop off and these two will go back up alongside Giovanni Reina. So for those curious about the European Championships, well, France have won their 5th overall and have just three-peated. Yep, the first time in history someone has three-peated the European Championship, and it is France now winning their 5th. They beat Portugal. Fernando helped Portugal get to the final. Fernando. And unfortunately came up short as France three-peat. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Fair play to France. Charlie Creswell helped England get to the semis as well before France knocked them out too. But we had one represented the final. That was Fernando. Sadly, they came up short to the three-peat of France. As for the Copa America, I'll show you that real briefly. Well, we did have a winner in the Copa America. Interestingly enough, Brazil beat Argentina. So you might be thinking, hang on a minute, who was your winner then? Because Luca Romero's an Argentine. So who was your winner? Well, you'll be forgiven for forgetting we do have a young Brazilian here. But of course, he spent the last year out on loan and the last 2 years out on loan. That is, of course, Luis Flavio, who was their starting left-back for the entire competition, their starting left-back, and he helped them go all the way, getting 2 assists in the process to winning the Copa America. Luis Flavio, he returned from Porto and China, and he's doing all right, to be fair to the kid. The interesting thing about this as well is that he had a big bid from Bournemouth, yet the Cherries put in a bid that could rise to 75 million, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, no takesies backsies, accepted it, and Luis Flavio turned it down. Got it! I much would have rathered I think it was 75 million. I much would have rathered the cash than Luis Flavio. He's at 20 years old, don't get me wrong, he's a great young talent, especially the physicals there, but I much would have rathered the cash due to the depth we've got in our back line right now. Even so, Luis Flavio won the Copa America with Brazil, and after his 2 loan spells, is he finally going to get a run in this season? I guess we'll have to wait and see. What else do I need to show you? I don't know. I guess competition overview for the new season. As you'll see, our objectives are as follows. DFB Pokal reached the semi-final. The past 2 years we've been shocking. Knocked out in the second round both years. We got through our first round. That actually came a week ago. It was obviously going to be an easy win for us away against a part-time club there. So through to the second round, I will take on FC Ingolstadt, a 2-league side. So hopefully this time we'll get past the second round for the first time in the save. Champions League, reached the quarter-final. Let's not talk about what happened last season, shall we? Hopefully we'll be able to do that for the first time since I've been at Dortmund now. And as for the Bundesliga, like I said, the board are very realistic. Everyone knows that Bayern Munich, now 20 time in a row winners, are going to go for their 21st in a row, and they'll be massive favourites as well. Are we able to close the gap this year? Maybe. I think this is probably the best chance we've ever got, and here's the reason why. Nagelsmann's still there, unfortunately, but they've lost Frenkie de Jong, the Dutch DM has decided to retire, and I know what you're thinking. Hang on, Doxy boy. Where's Endrick? I thought you said Endrick was coming in. Well, he didn't. Nope. Endrick decided to stay at Real Madrid and sign a new long-term contract. So it's only the one major outgoing, and that's Frenkie de Jong retiring. But the big news was knowing that Endrick decided to stay at Real Madrid. Thank goodness for that. Because if he would have came in right now in the prime of his career at 26, fresh off winning the Copa America, Bayern would win another 20 in a row. I mean, honestly, just ludicrous. So Bayern's team hasn't got any better. You could say it's gotten slightly worse with Frenkie de Jong's retirement and, of course, the advancing ages of De Ligt, Upamecano, Costa, and Joshua Kimmich as well. So, yeah. Then again, they did win the opening day 5-0 away at Stuttgart, so, probably still as good as ever, but even so. They'll be going for it once again. And to me, I want to compete just like we did last year. I want to be in a title race just like last year. But if we finish in the top 4 again, it's not a bad season. We know our place in the Bundesliga, and that's that second place is probably the very best, realistically, everyone expects of us. As for pre-season, we had an unbeaten pre-season, including a win in our Signal Iduna Cup against Chelsea in the final. We also played Hakimi's testimonial as well, which is quite nice. I don't know why, but I said before, I can't do testimonials. It's always greyed out. And I know what you're going to say. You just started a competitive season now, so obviously you won't be able to do it. But even beforehand, it's always greyed out for me. Gregor Kobel would be eligible, but I can't give him one. Schlotterbeck would have been eligible, I think, last season, but I couldn't give him one. I don't know why, but I just can't do... I think Ozcan is eligible, I think. But, yeah, but I can't give players testimonials. I don't know why, but every FM I've ever had, I've never been able to do it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I literally cannot arrange testimonials. It's so annoying. But anyway, yeah, that was pre-season, and like I said, we won the first round of the FA Pokal away against a part-time side to make it through to the second round. So I think that is it. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So let's crack on with the first game of the season. We're away against Nuremberg. Certainly not an easy game, but after Bayern starting off with a 5-0 win last night, laying down the Gornil on match day 1, we know in order to catch Bayern Munich, we need to win practically every single game we take on in the Bundesliga, because we still haven't beaten them once in the league so far in 4 meetings. So yeah, last season our big problem was our away days. We only won, I think, 10 of 17, which doesn't sound too bad, but if you want to win the title, especially with Bayern Munich, it's got to be better than that. So away days this year, we need a marked improvement if we're to have any chance of winning the title. So heading into the opening day, En-Nesyri, by the way, is on trial, but I don't think I'm going to give him a deal. I did have Gabriel Jesus on trial, but he chose Southampton over us, which was interesting, but fair enough. Yeah, En-Nesyri is coming on trial. He actually did really well with Sevilla last year, 7 goals in 24. He's been consistently really good since the save began. But he just signed for squad depth. He's still got some decent stats, but physically he's not really there anymore. So I'm not sure if I give him a contract or not. It feels like it'd be a bit of a waste of wages, but we'll have to wait and see. But right now, the injury report, everyone's fit, and this will be our team. So it's our 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress. We're starting off with a mentality of balanced on the opening day away, and this will be our team. Dennis Seaman makes his Bundesliga debut for Dortmund, and the back four is Netz, the Dragon, Creswell, and Striddy as well. Cruiser and Mane, our DM duo with Dos Santos on the left, Company on the right, and Reina supporting Moukoko, who of course won the Golden Boot last year. No, he didn't. Did he? Yes, he did. Sorry, I was wrong. Moukoko, not top. On the bench, you've got Alfonso, Bennett, Flavio, Watjen, Ozcan, Lakonga, Landschutter, Wimmer, and Romero as well. First only game, Nuremberg away. We need to start off with a win. That's just how good Bayern is. Even on match day 1, we need to get a win or our title dreams are over. Come on, Dortmund. Also, I just put my fan on, so I do apologise. There's a bit of background noise for the next few minutes, but I'm absolutely sweating right now. I've got a bit of a fever. I think I've got an infection. I haven't been very well for the past few days, but yeah, I need to reduce the heat and cool myself down a little bit. Anyway, what I do want to do is turn up the heat in our opening game here in the Bundesliga this season and get a big 3 points on match day 1. Here's Luca Netz down the left-hand side, probably playing his final game for the club, and also getting an assist just 7 minutes in as well. He finds Fernando, and already our number 9's off the mark this year. What a signing he's been. Yep, I'm resigned to losing Luca Netz. He's going to go for £44 million, I think it is, and Arsenal are going to get an absolutely world-class left-back for such a great cut price deal. It's a shame, but I can't talk him round. This will most likely be his final game for the club. And what a bargain Arsenal are getting. An assist already just 7 minutes in, and Dortmund have the lead. 1-0, perfect start, as Mane finds Reina, tight angle. Can he shoot as he steps inside? Yes, he can. Oh, what a goal. And it's a first for Gio. 2 goals up, 9 minutes in, perfect start. Gio. Yep, lovely bit of dribbling, and that finish, absolutely beautiful as he stepped in on his preferred right foot. He also is eligible for a testimonial, but I can't give him one either, so I just don't know what I'm doing wrong, really. you know, I never really seriously entertained the possibility of him taking the armband in the summer due to the lack of leadership and determination as well. But it did cross my mind for a moment there. One of our longest serving players, but even so, here's Yusufa. Oh, who misses a golden chance on a one-on-one. And that's not the first time or the last time you've heard me say that, that's for sure. Still 2-0. Moukoko, honestly. I said this last season. Yes, he won the Golden Boot, but he could have had like double the amount of goals he scored last year. He's the most inconsistent striker I've had in his save, I think. So frustrating. 2-0 Dortmund though, and we've really turned it on in the early stages. Dos Santos to Reina, and there's his second. 17 minutes in, and we're saying to Bayern Munich, anything you can do, we can do just as good. Yeah, once that Luca Netz deal does go through, presumably in the next 24-48 hours, I will look to reinvest instantly on a new fullback to replace him. I was gutted though, because if you don't follow me on Twitter, basically Urasevic, we had a bid accepted from Bournemouth, and he turned it down as Moukoko makes it 4. Not sure if he was onside there as Dos Santos played it long. It'll go to VAR and we shall see. But yeah, Urasevic turned down the contract. I was gutted. My two favourite players in my Bournemouth team, Kazada and Urasevic, have rejected me in 2 years. That's pain, man. That is pain. But even so, I got a good replacement in mind for Luca Netz. So yeah, if he does go through, as long as he doesn't fail a medical, then I'll try and sign him instantaneously as well. But even so, leading by 3 here at Nuremberg. But I want another goal. If Bayern won by 5, we need to try and match that scoreline. It's going to feel a bit weird saying Captain Creswell this season, but deserves it. Definitely deserves it for the 2 years he's been here. He hasn't put a foot wrong at all. So, you know, like I said, Reina was kind of not really someone I even properly, considered as Moukoko. Oh, spurned to golden chance, and Luke is going to bow out with a goal from 22 yards as well. But I did think for a while maybe Stefano, 18 months here, changed his position from left back to right back, done really, really well in this time as well, and still so young, yet a world-class fullback. But I don't think I'll regret Creswell taking the armband. He's got the right mentality. And Luca Netz makes it 4, and it's a dream start to the second half. And a dream ending for Luca, setting up our first and scoring our 4th. Nuremberg looking for a consolation goal, and they've got it as well. Brian Brobby will stop Dennis Seaman from getting a debut clean sheet. It'll go to VAR, but I think it was on. I think it was. And yeah, there we go. Robbie gets to go. I know we know debut clean sheet for Seaman. It's 4-1. Not the start I wanted for our new number 1. First shot on target for him to face, and it squirms into the bottom corner. So yeah, 4-1. And a clean sheet gone as we aim to restore our 4-goal cushion instantly. Moukoko's shot deflected and picked back up. Yusufa, 4 goals for us. He's not had a hand in any of them. This is Yusufa Moukoko in a nutshell. Sometimes you score like 3 goals and dominate. Other games, they'll have 2 or 3 brilliant chances, miss them all, and do nothing for us. I'd like to see Moukoko get a goal. Just because he's one of those sort of confident strikers, he needs to see the ball hit the back of the net to know he's still got it. And he has. He's a world-class striker, but when he goes into a little, I say slump, like 2 or 3 games without a goal, that's when I start to worry. Even so, 12 minutes to go, looking to restore that 4-goal cushion as Gio hits it long. Oh, what a ball. Dos Santos fires wide. We should have had like 7 goals here today. We've absolutely dominated. Dos Santos wins it back, and now Cruiser dinks it over the top for him. He'll head on. There is Yusufa. He's got to finish this time, and he does. Moukoko, well done, mate. Gets his first of the year, and finally, like the 3rd or 4th attempt, he does see the ball cross the line. Dos Santos does really well there, and once again, our number 9's a great game. He was the one that won it back. Dinks the ball after Cruiser dinks it over the top, and Yusufa dinks it over the goalkeeper to make it 5-1. What a performance. Stoppage time, final chance to get our 6th goal, which will see us go top of the table on goals scored as Pat Wimmer off the bench is through, and clips the post and almost got it. Nuremberg will survive at 5-1 down, and unfortunately that Bayern will stay top after match day 1 by a single goal. Still 5-1 the final score, and whilst it will mean we're 2nd for now, and most likely between now and the end of the season, it's still a really, really great start to the season, and probably the end to Luca Netz's Dortmund career as well. We'll take it though, 5-1 the final score, and a really good beginning to our third year at the Signal Iduna Park. But that would end today's episode of the Football Manager Save, guys. So if you found watching and enjoyed it, if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I will return in the very next episode with, do you know, I think I'm going to have to come back before the window slams shut. I'm thinking maybe what we could do is the Stuttgart game away, and then Mönchengladbach at home, because I think what we're going to see is a really big deadline day. But then I kind of want to do the next kind of phase on camera, because we're going to make a big signing, I think. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll play the very next 2 games, because we're going to see Luca leave, and then we'll probably make a big new signing. If not, I'll skip the Mainz game and come back for Stuttgart, deadline day, and Mönchengladbach as well. I'll see. We'll see. Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Football Manager Save very soon.